Hello, this is Lisa Rusczyk
And Donna Murphy.
with the podcast We Are All Psychic, and today we have a really cool guest. His name is Buddha Noah, and Buddha Noah, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Everyone, what are they saying, Donna? She's the clairaudient one, so sometimes she can hear them predictably.
They're saying, hi, Buddha Noah. It's great to see you.
I received that.
And oddly, listeners and watchers, if you're watching, this is a video on Spotify and YouTube. The manager is not here yet, so we don't know what's up with that. The manager is a cat, and she's almost always right here for the question. But we'll go ahead and start without her. Buddha Noah, Do you think we're all psychic?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes. So how'd you get there?
Well, it is a long story, but I will say, I think for me, working as a psychic medium as my main profession throughout my 20s and into my 30s, last 15 years, as my foundational skill, what I take from all the readings and all the people I've been able to sit with is just being a witness to their own intuition and their own connection to their guides.
True.
And that's, been such a blessing of my life is, this is how it works. And I get to be a witness. And that's a really special thing for me.
That's weird that you say that. That's my favorite part of being a reader in the work is getting to see them love themselves more, getting to see them get to know themselves and not being afraid of what they find, and seeing them get to trust themselves, which is a long road for me. It's still going, it's a long road. And I think that's because we change a lot. Our opinions and our experiences give us new challenges to ask ourselves the hard questions, So
we might call it a trust in the season, right? Trust. What does trust look like for this season anyway?
That's a good way of putting it. That's a great way.
That's a great way. Yeah, that's a great way to put it because it's true. And it does change over time. I don't think it's static. I think that each time you learn to trust yourself more, I don't think you necessarily lose ground, but there will be new things that you then question, or you question your place in them, or you question your perception of them and how you're going to navigate. So I think it's really an ongoing process, but I don't think it's a question of that you do and then you don't, then you do and then you don't.
It's a growth. It's a staircase. You're always going up or down or one or the other.
That's one of the privileges of doing readings as well, right? It's being able to be a witness and support people if you build a positive rapport. I always value when people feel safe to trust to speak with me again. Maybe it's a year later, maybe it's 5 years later, but it's that cyclical process of checking in with self with a safe person who also trusts themselves and just holding that space. So the cyclical nature of what we're learning as we're going through life is always fascinating.
Yes, it's so true. And I know you said it's a long story. We do love long stories on this podcast. So we'd love to hear some of it. If you don't want to tell the whole thing, we understand. We'd love the whole thing, though, and we'll take it.
As much as you're comfortable sharing, we're very comfortable and very happy to listen. And so will our audience, I'm sure.
I appreciate that. And as I was saying, the thing that attracted me to connect with you guys is community. So for me, when I first understood that my psychic abilities, which I believe we all have, but for me in my journey, I would say it started in the mental hospital. So it's an interesting, juicy place to start.
Kind of, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But I was about 19 years old, and just through some of the programming that I had experienced in my early childhood, starting about 5 all the way up to 19, there was a lot going on in my subconscious that was causing very present depression, anxiety, and I no longer felt that I could exist in this world. And so my loving parents, they ended up making sure I was getting mental health support. And what typically for people is a weekend check-in and then go back to your life and make it work. For me, I was there for a little while.
How long were you there?
And so I was there for about 3 weeks.
Wow.
And so I really, at 19, being taken out of my life, going to school, going to work, and really needing to take time and actually be present with myself and start to understand and uncover what's actually going on here. And it was in the mental hospital that, as a person of faith, a Christian background, I ended up saying a prayer, which is what I knew to do at that time in my consciousness. Prayer was my mediumship.
Yeah.
So I said a prayer, God, if you get me out of this crisis, this mental health crisis, I'll do whatever you want me to do. So in the innocence and the purity of that call out for my spirit, my story, my journey tells me that it wasn't necessarily a religious experience, but for me, it was an extraterrestrial experience.
Really?
And
Yes, I
so
did read that about
connecting,
you in your email. I'm so
Yeah.
curious about that.
so
Do
Yeah.
tell.
connecting with other souls or other
Mhm.
beings on the other
Mhm.
side for a lot of mediums looks like human souls that have passed over. But
Yeah.
for me, my first conscious experience of connecting to the other side in my reality is with extraterrestrials.
That's with
And
our
that it,
Arcturians in particular, right? Yes, I read that.
Arcturians.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
fascinated. Is that how you pronounce it? I didn't know. I love that. That's so
Yes.
fascinating. Can you tell us, were they the first ones to come through for you in your mediumship?
Yes. So that was the first experience where a voice came to me and identified, we're going to support you. You're an empty vessel. You don't feel that you can go on. You've said that you'll join up, you'll help in some way in exchange for support. And how I tell it is my mental health issues were wiped. Some of my memories were wiped that were causing some of the trauma
Yeah, the
in the
trauma.
body.
Wow.
But I received such support in
Mhm.
response to that prayer and that call out. And from the time I left the mental hospital, I started doing readings right away. And I say,
Wow.
my friends, my inner circle, and they're like, where'd you go for a couple of weeks? We were looking for you. We're calling you. And just in connecting with them, that safety of connecting with my
Mhm.
friends, what started to come out, similar to if people have seen the movie Disclosure Day, that just came out, big topic of conversation in conscious community. It came out like that, just being able to feel, tune in, read, see, and be aware of people in a deeper way than I ever had before. And that really started my journey of being of service,
Yeah.
which ultimately was service for my soul.
It's very interesting for me to hear you say that because you realized you had these skills, these abilities to see into people, understand them because you probably found truth and understanding and trusting yourself,
Mhm.
especially with that. But you wanted to do service with it, offer it to people. Not everybody wants to do that. A lot of people see it as an advantage to better their life for themselves or,
Mhm.
do something like that. But you were called to serve like immediately. Why do you think
Yeah,
that was for you in particular?
I think the blessing of having the friends that I had around me at 19, 20 that cared for me. And when I was sharing with them, yes, I did go take a trip to the mental hospital. Yes, I did lose it for a little bit. The mind had to release from societal expectations of holding it together and just
Yes.
be gone for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
But in grounding back in, the focus on loving people, seeing them for who they are, caring about hearing, what do you have going on? It was something that I couldn't control. So, to be fair, my intention in the beginning was more, how do I control this that's coming out as
Yeah.
opposed to
When,
how to
where,
offer
what?
it?
Wow.
Yeah.
So my friends were really loving and really patient when we would go into these hours of conversation where they would feel like they could open up in ways they never had. And they did feel that some guidance from beyond was coming through that was very grounding and that they could trust. So I'll say I started to learn to trust myself, trust my intuition, trust the natural flow of energy, excitement, care, compassion,
Mhm.
because I had friends that really actually were the original vessel to hold that offering as it was coming out.
Okay.
And it wasn't until 4 years later at 24 that I'll say my guides at Spirit came to me at a time where I was struggling to find a job and I was struggling with possibly being evicted from my apartment.
Ah,
And Spirit came to me because listening for me is that start of trust is what am I actually allowing myself to hear? So just in listening, Spirit's voice came and said, put an ad on Craigslist, free advice. And the running joke is, I need free advice. What do I have any business putting an ad up? I'm in
You
my
have to
early
pay 50
20s at
cents.
24. That's right. But that wisdom coming through when I look back, over 15 years later and just thank the stars, thank the universe, all the guides, to have enough care and focus on little old me to say, your journey is going to evolve here because you've had enough time in your friend group and then yourself navigating to now be able to offer something. And in that journey of just putting free advice ad on Craigslist, you get a lot of responses when something is free. Sure. And that was a safe space for me to let it flow without expectation. There was never a concern about accuracy as a psychic, which comes in a little bit later as people start to appreciate and call on your services and trust you. But right in the beginning, it was more just, here's what's flowing with people on the phone. So I wasn't seeing them. I wasn't getting any cue of information. Yeah, I think that's a really wonderful way to start is just what are you hearing? What are you tuning into with your body beyond the visual? So even with clairvoyance, you can tune in through your clairaudience. With clairaudience hearing, you have internal sight. So I started to learn through those phone calls, giving free advice and people offering that feedback of appreciation, connection. They felt connected to what I was reading, what I was hearing and seeing beyond the 3D. That really helped me to, number one, feel like I could connect to people as who I am and my authentic personality. And then number two, that I would be appreciated without needing to perform because it was just flowing. It was spirit choosing me as a vessel, trusting that I would just give a pure presence and that pure presence would be positive. And so for years I did that. And through spirit's guidance, every step I trusted, all right, I'll put this ad on Craigslist, though I need advice right now. All right. I will ask for free reviews. I'll ask for free reviews for people that were calling back and wanting to pay for a reading. I said, just give me a review. That's helpful. Yeah. And then at a certain point of trusting spirit saying, okay, now do the reviews. Now you can earn money. This is your path. This is to be your career.
That's where I was going next. I really want to ask you. So you wanted to serve, and you said you immediately started doing readings. Why did you pick readings? I'm just really curious.
So it chose me. It happened just that way. That spirit would come to me in my ear. Do this. It was loving. It was gentle. It was pointed in a forward direction. That was allowing me to take steps at a time where I needed direction.
Yeah.
And because I trusted the loving vibration of the message and the results were speaking for themselves, it created more connection, more support, more natural resources, more self-confidence, more self-love. It could go on and on about how following that guidance allowed me to grow and expand myself. And just getting to a place where I wasn't worried about eviction anymore. I knew that there was a skill that I could offer because I didn't go to college. I had that breakdown at 19 when I was in community college. And from there, it was really flowing, getting into the flow of life, seeing the country, just having time, stepping into adulthood. So this was the first space that I could safely land as an adult and say, I have something of value to offer. It's authentic. And it is of a spiritual nature for me because of my background as a Christian, my upbringing. It's something I felt so comfortable to share with others. And I was excited about how people felt after those calls. And that's really what motivated me to keep going is people feeling better and having something useful to do with the information.
You must have learned to trust your intuition and your flow very early on to be inspired to do readings right away and being in the spirit speaking to you that way and just doing it, being able to. And pursuing it the way you did is just brilliant. It really is. But I was curious, like, to be able to do all that, I know you did say you were listening to guidance, but you had the self-trust to listen to the guidance and do it.
Because when spirit speaks, but it's still you
You
that
have
has
to
to
do
show
it,
up
right?
and
Yeah.
take the guidance, take the advice, and also live with
Exactly.
any sort of result. So for
Hmm.
me, I give credit to my courage. I think courage is a personal life theme for me. It's courage with a capital C. Coming out of that mental hospital, leaving home for the first time at 21, I took the big cross country trip from Virginia, where I grew up
Wow.
with my family in a tight church community, and took the trip to California, where I ended up staying and saying, okay, this is home for me. That self trust to get to what I feel is a vibrational location on the planet and
Yeah.
in our country in particular, that helped create the space where there's already spiritual community, there's already psychic and healing communities, there's a lot of wellness communities here in California and Los Angeles in particular, and there's the arts.
Yeah.
So just having the self trust that this is the right move, come what may, I'm going to trust myself to fit into the shoes of the life that I'm looking for. And then being in a space that could help nurture and cultivate that with the community that I met. I really give credit to having people around me that would validate my choices and
Yeah.
just be supportive
That's
for the
huge.
unfolding of those choices. So,
Hmm.
yes, spirit. Yes,
Yeah.
others. Yes, me. There's a kind of a trifecta
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the different influences that just became my life.
That's so
Also,
cool.
what I'm hearing as you speak and have heard from many of our guests and even a lot of my clients is, when the point has come that you've asked with a sincere heart for help, for guidance, for assistance from spirit, I'll just call it spirit, whether it's your guides or the angels or the extraterrestrials or whatever form it might take. My feeling has been, and in my own personal experience, but I encourage other people too, that when you're at that moment and you have asked with a sincere desire to receive, your next step, I hate to say it this way, but no matter what comes next, your next step is to say yes.
That's
Just
right.
say yes because you
Yes.
ask. And
Yes.
I will say I have absolute trust at that juncture. I'm not saying we should believe everything or that we should say
Yeah.
yes to everything, just broadly walking down the street. You know what I mean? Because who knows? But
Yes.
when you made that sincere request and put that out there, my own life has proved it out. I've seen it proved out for many, many, many
Yeah.
other people. Your story proves it out beautifully. Is yes, you still at that point might be going, "What the hell?"
That's right. It's not always a mental understanding,
Hmm.
which for
Hmm.
me,
Good
starting my
point.
conscious journey
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
mental hospital,
yeah.
I have another running joke now of I'm so glad that I started hearing voices after I left the mental hospital because that really
You're so right.
that when you talk about self-trust,
Yes.
how do you know you weren't schizophrenic with respect to mental
Exactly,
health issues?
exactly,
Well,
exactly.
there's a whole world of knowledge inside of that experience as
Yep.
well, the
Mhm.
fractured mind. But for me personally, I can say I started hearing voices after I
After,
left the mental
yeah,
hospital. I was not on any medication when I
yeah,
started hearing voices. And it's a visceral physical thing as well. So when you're a reader and you have that self trust that then you're extending just to hold space for others to experience more self trust, what people are looking for in a reading, they may be looking for you to predict a future timeline,
hmm,
predict a result or an outcome to bring them more peace or confidence or assurance about the path they're on, the steps they're taking. But what happens for me anyway as a reader is I'm more holding a physical mirror to whoever I'm
yeah,
speaking to. And I'm allowing my physical body intelligence, really, it's neck down. When I think of the chakra system,
yeah.
I'm starting more in the heart chakra, going down to
Mm,
the root as a mirror of what the other person's physically experiencing.
Cool.
So that physical intelligence to me
Yeah.
has really balanced
A good way of putting
third
it into
eye
words.
clairvoyance,
Yeah.
that head up knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people don't have to believe they're psychic. What
Mhm.
they can do is start tuning in to their physical body's feelings, sensations,
Mhm.
and knowing that that is intelligence of its own
Absolutely.
kind.
Yes.
The
yes.
gut
So
feeling.
that learning about
Yeah.
the physical intelligence of the body and not only
Great
relying
point.
on head knowledge really supported all of me when I have an
Mhm.
upset stomach, if I've got
Right.
chill bumps,
Or if you
right?
just
Yeah.
have
If I
that
have a
kind of
migraine.
nauseous feeling. I get like a nauseous
Yes.
feeling if I
sometimes there's
meet
that
somebody
off.
who
Yes.
is being
Yeah.
normal and nice.
Yes.
And they
But you
seem
get
There's
that
so
fine.
many
queasy-
Something's
layers of
telling me,
that.
and it's physical. It's not just
Yeah.
the gut feeling.
Yes.
It literally is nausea. You know, like so.
There are people, I had this experience where on several occasions before I had this awareness, when I would meet someone and I might get physically ill while I'm with them,
Me
or
too.
after being with them, I might start having a vomiting fit. Before I would say, oh, food poisoning. But hindsight is also helpful
Yeah.
for the future, for
Right.
understanding
Yeah.
future patterns of my life. And I can look back and say, based on the unfolding of that relationship or the unfolding of that season, I can pinpoint that moment where I got violently ill as my body giving me information
Mhm.
just to be present with, heed
Mhm.
the warning as a helpful hint
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
aware and just to be more in tune. So there are very natural things that happen to us that just with a little bit of mindful awareness, time journaling, then your head knowledge, your brain, your third eye, your crown can start to sort that information and give you more context to your experience.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love this.
Absolutely.
You have such great advice from all your experience. I would really love to know if you have like a moment that you really thought, okay, now I trust my intuition. Now I trust what I'm saying. Was there a moment for you, or was
Yes.
it growth? There was. You want to tell us about it?
Absolutely. And it was such a blessing of an experience because up until this moment, this point that I'm going to share with you, my belief system and what I had experienced had told me positive prayers, humility, gratitude. These are the manifesting tools to have a positive life, for things to work out. That's how it had worked out for me. And I was crediting God, spirit, angels, and extraterrestrials, ancestors. I thought I had to always be a very positive, light, and love centered person to be able to trust my path and see results unfold as I expected. That's not what sealed my self-trust. It was in a moment of me being sarcastic. I had been working as a psychic and starting to understand that not all people feel comfortable with psychic mediums, that a lot of people go through pain and hurt in their experiences, in sometimes in innocence, and sometimes not so innocent encounters with people saying, I have something to offer you.
Yep.
So I started to become very present to some of the negative backlash of being open as a psychic medium. Mind you, this was in 2014, 2015. And I had said it to no one in particular, but it came up and out of my mouth, out loud, the power of words. I'd love to be a medium. People love a good medium. They
Bam.
don't always love a good
You
psychic.
asked for it. You asked for it.
And it was less than 2 weeks later, I was woken up out of my sleep by a person who'd crossed over and was in my ear that hears, get on Facebook, send a message to this person. This is what I want to communicate. Self-trust in that moment allowed me to say, I will do so, and I will live with the consequences of my actions.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a reading, a direct mediumship encounter to a woman I'd never met or spoken to on Facebook. We just happened to be Facebook friends.
Yes.
And the
Wow.
positive connection between these two souls across space and time and dimensions, that sealed in that season my self-trust, and it began a journey of even more connection, more understanding, more allowance for the person I am today, where I operate more multidimensionally. I speak and work more with beings not in the 3D reality than I do the pleasure of your guys' company today with human beings in this reality, which is such a joy. So that moment opened the door, and I asked for it to now do the multidimensional work I do for me with extraterrestrials, with human beings who have crossed over to other realms, animals that have crossed over to other realms. It's a joy. It's a joy. The whole world.
Fascinating. I would love to ask you to come back and talk more about that part of your work if you're interested, because I would really love to hear about it. Because you've got the self-trust, but you are able to spend so much time in conversation with entities and beings that most people can't, or we think we can access to.
Right.
Exactly. I would just have to ask, apparently.
And that was a big choice too, at a time where I'd begun to have students and a lot of reoccurring clients. And I, similar to someone that I really admire for his journey, we share a birthday, Edgar Casey. There's something about
you do.
that, and also by way of Virginia as well, with his major part of his life and practice in Virginia Beach.
That's right, in Hampton Roads. That's where I was born.
That was the first place I went to after I left home in Northern Virginia, and went to his facility without even knowing we shared a birthday, knowing anything about him. So again, you're just on the path.
That's great. Don't you love
you're
when that's
saying yes?
I love
and
it.
In hindsight, you can really appreciate the natural order and flow of things when you're open. But for me, when I learned that he was doing 3 readings a day, at a certain point, I said, I'm doing 3 readings a day. So I started to also make a lot of energetic connections. And it's been so great to have, in some ways, a model, someone who had done it before in a similar fashion. But at a time where I was doing a lot of work as a psychic medium, and doing a lot of work as a holistic healing advisor, and doing a lot of classes, Kundalini body energy work, how to tune in, the voice, spirit, my guides come to me again and say, take down your website, take down your Yelp, all the things that I felt were offering credibility, providing stability. At the height of that for me, Spirit was saying, take it all down. And you're going to now follow without advertising your services. So that was a challenge that I said yes to.
Yeah.
And what unfolded when I stopped advertising, because that was what I was guided to do, is I ended up having more meaningful connections, ended up moving into more long-term relationships, more community. Yes.
And I always ask my guys, but when I'm ready for a client or more clients that can really help, that I can actually help, I ask and they'll recommend within a week when I'm ready.
Yeah.
It was so funny. From taking that path, Spirit came to me and said, a businessman is coming. Here's what he looks like. Here's what's going to be going on with him. So when I stopped doing readings, I'll say performing readings, because at a certain point it got to, this is my job. This is what I signed up for. This is the income. This is how I support my family. When I had a season of stepping back from that, stepping back from teaching, Spirit offered me a new mission and a new assignment. And that actually helped me move into corporate wellness, working with conscious C-suite. So individuals operating in the corporate world who need to remain more mindful, who want to trust themselves, use their intuition, not only statistics or spreadsheets.
Right.
So it's been a joy to also support people building things, employing people, feeding families, to help people that are motivated to support a lot of people on the planet. So my path shifted and evolved by saying yes to what was coming in, which I trust is my highest excitement reflected back to me. And
I like that.
Yes, there are challenges, there are growing curves in every season.
Sure.
But the result of saying yes to myself and yes to what I hear, what I feel, what I see, it has only been positive. And that's what I'd want to share with other people who may have a fear of their own intuition, who
Yeah.
may have been taught to be fearful of
Yes.
what they hear, what their mind shows them. Sit with it, journal it, share it with a
Yes.
friend or trusted family member.
Yes.
You don't have to make the decisions on your own, but
Yeah.
you do need to feel connected to the decisions you want to make by
True.
allowing yourself to receive this information.
Mhm.
Yes, I love it.
Absolutely.
And I love that
That's
you
just
said,
beautiful.
yeah, I love that you said you allowed yourself to say yes, because we
Mhm.
don't. So much, I don't let myself say yes. Look, the manager's agreeing. The managers here, listeners, if
Yeah,
you're
we
not watching.
mentioned that she would likely come to visit. She likes you very
I'm
much. She's
glad.
been very
No, I'm glad.
relaxed,
Getting approval.
and she's gotten some tail into the picture here.
Yes.
That's approval.
But this is
Yes.
Tomiko, and we call her name is Tomiko. We call her the manager because she
The
loves
boss.
to show up. Yeah, loves to show up on podcasts. And
Mm.
as far as she's concerned, people tune in for her.
Yes, that cat
I-
magic,
that's
that
the only
cat
reason I do the
energy is so
podcast.
healing.
Well,
Yes.
before she came on board as manager, I was kind of losing it, not really keeping it together. My schedule was getting a mess. She put me down. She got me in line.
Got us all right on track. Yeah.
A perfect companion.
Yes, they are perfect. So where can the listeners and watchers find more about you, Buddha Noah? Do you have a website or do you offer services?
I
anywhere?
do.
Where is it? Where
I
can I be?
do. Absolutely. In this season, you can find me at buddha-noah.com. And you can also find me on patreon.com/tap, TAP community. And that's the community I'm building for like-minded souls who are interested in disclosure, who have had any of their own extraterrestrial encounters, and also are faith-based, so non-denominational community where what you believe, your experiences are valid,
Beautiful.
and be happy to have you there.
That's beautiful. I love
That's
that. And
just
we'll put all of
beautiful.
his
Yeah.
information that he just told you and maybe more in the description of the podcast. And you can just click through
Yes.
and check it out. I'm going to check it out for sure.
Yeah, me
Absolutely.
too.
That's just great. Donna, can you think of any advice for him to offer our listeners and watchers right now?
There's so much good advice
I know already.
in this. But I would say if someone is maybe having some challenge or having some difficulty feeling like they can begin to trust what they're experiencing intuitively, what's a really, really like kind of simple first step?
Yes, I would say tuning into your breath. The very thing that we do when we're feeling anxious and overloaded, we start to lose our breath.
Yeah.
And so I always
So
say
true.
if a person can take 10 deep breaths in through the nose,
Just one does
out
it.
through the mouth,
Mm.
and opening the relaxed gut, if you can do 10 deep breaths, you can start to come into your own intelligence, back to a place of self-trust. That's clearing out the noise around you and committing just to 10 deep breaths. That's the start of recommitting to hearing yourself, feeling yourself, knowing yourself, trusting yourself. Just
Beautiful.
start there.
That's
And if you
great.
keep going, if you can get
Yeah.
past 10,
Yeah.
amazing.
Even
But if
better.
at 10 breaths, you just feel like I'm a little more grounded, then the
Yes.
next step, once you get up, the next step you take will be a little more grounded. And that's progress.
Beautiful
Yeah,
advice.
absolutely. That's beautiful
Best.
advice.
And thank you so much.
I'm a big believer and a big proponent of breathing. I don't just mean generally like
I like to
tell me
breathe.
do it. I like to
I
breathe.
highly endorse it.
That's right.
Such in favor. No. But the idea of especially
Focus
I
breathing.
deal with a lot of people who it just tends to be the case that many of the people that I work with have a lot of issues around anxiety, and sometimes we can't. The best way to get us to where hopefully I can be of more service is first to kind of quiet that down, to help quiet
Yes.
Right.
that angst, that anxiousness, because it doesn't allow for a clear connection or clear communication. So that's beautiful, and it's perfect advice, I think, for everybody in our audience who's listening and watching.
I agree.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure. And I really enjoy communicating and being a community in this moment with you too. So thank you for having me.
I've loved it.
Yeah,
And
this
then
is
it's been great. But we do have one last question for you.
Yes, we do.
Do you love our podcast listeners and watchers? Do you love them?
Yes.
Yeah, he loves you. I got a little obsidian heart for you for this one, guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm doing, there we go.
He loves you, listeners. I love you, listeners and watchers.
Yes, I love you too. And I want to just say, Buddha Noah, that although I do not share a birthday with Edgar Casey, I am also a Pisces.
Fantastic. Yes.
There's I'm having a great time with all this Pisces energy. I feel I'm already Pisces, so I'm like feeling like the actions are well placed.
Yeah, right.
A lovely flow for the day. Yes.
Thank you so much, Donna. Thank you, Buddha Noah. Thank you, listeners and watchers. As always, we love you. Have a great time wherever you may be. And we love you again and again and again and again.
We hope to see you very soon. Buddha Noah, I hope you will join us again.
I do hope you'll come back.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
Please do. We'd love to have you. And also, listeners and watchers, if you like us, depending on where it is that you watch us, Spotify or YouTube or whatever, every platform has a way to say, I like this and I want more of it. Please do that. And you can subscribe, you can like, you can get notifications, I know on YouTube, of when we drop a new podcast. If you have comments for us or questions or anything that you want to share, please feel free. We love hearing from you.
You can email at Lisa at We're All Psychic, or just drop a comment anywhere on our podcast.
Anywhere. Yeah. And we would love to hear from you, and we'd love to, give even more of what we know that you like and are interested in and want to know more about. That's what we're here for.
We love doing it too. And again, thank you, Buddha Noah. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, listeners, watchers. Thank you, Tomiko. And Gandalf being our little background kitty. He's the mascot.
Yes.
He's coming. Oh, he heard his name, so he came to get a scratch. What was your
Cat
scratch?
love. Beautiful.
Well, everybody have a great cat day, and thank you very much.
Everyone.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye. See you again soon.
Listeners and watchers, I hardly ever forget Everclear. I thanked everybody in the world. I told everybody on the whole planet I love them, except for Everclear, our sponsor. Our sponsor is Everclear, everclear.com, or an application in the Google Play Store and the iTunes Store, Apple Store, whatever it's called in the apples. And you can get advice from psychics and empaths to find the clarity you need to create the life you deserve from an advisor on Everclear. So I'm also an advisor on Everclear under my name, Lisa Rusczyk, and Donna, my co-host, is also an advisor on Everclear under the name Donna Murphy, of course. And any advisor at Everclear will make you happy. Thank you so much, guys. We love you.